Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. This is going to be an exciting one because in this video I'm finally going to address the most common question I get in my comment section. But before I do, the weather is absolutely stunning out here. I think the rains have finally finished. It rained a couple days ago and it's been downpouring for weeks, and I've been waiting for the rains to clear before addressing this question because it's all about the window tarp. So now that the rains have cleared, I can finally take this tarp down and I can finally give you the story about why that thing is up there and hopefully push on with finally putting a window in the front of my house. So this tarp, as with many tarps, is here to protect the front of the house from water, because beneath the tarp lies a weird hole that I made for a silly reason. But before I go into that story and remove the tarp, let's take a look inside the house and see what this weird window hole in progress looks like from the inside. So here's the window in all of its terrifying glory. This thing has been haunting my dreams for 3 years. It's the first thing I started working on when I moved in. I didn't really have a lot of tools. I didn't know what I was doing inside the house. So I just decided to put supports up. I had sticks running down from the rafters, and I started ripping stones out of the wall, anticipating that I would put a window somewhere around here. I did also manage to put a lintel up top, so this concrete thing here is actually reinforced with rebar, and it's now what's supporting these rafters here. So that was a good thing, but overall, this project has stalled, and yeah, it's been terrifying me for a very long time. So this window hole debacle is definitely an example of me biting off way more than I could chew, and I just kind of became paralyzed with fear about how to actually build a stone hole to put the window in. Making the window won't be a problem because I'm not going to be the one doing it. I'm going to hire a professional for that one, but I haven't done that yet because I don't have a hole for the thing to sit in. The general idea with these old buildings is you have the hole already there, or you make one and then the window guy comes, fits a window into it, and all is well. But for me, I got started on the hole, I became scared, and I basically stopped working on this for 3 years. The reason there's this weird window in here, this little wooden window, has a slightly funny story behind it, but before I get into that, let's head back outside, take the tarp off, and see what I'm dealing with from the outside. Okay, tarp be gone. Hopefully for forever, because I fully intend on getting a window into this hole this summer before the rains come back. It's definitely going to be a challenge because I don't fully know what I'm doing, but I have had some help along the way, and I feel medium confident I can get this done. But let's chat a little bit more about what the heck happened here, because it's quite ridiculous. It really is a gorgeous day, but that sun is already hot, so I'm gonna just hide in the shade of this decrepit looking olive tree and tell my tale of woe. I moved into this place just over 3 years ago, I think, and I know this because it was right around the time of the Eurovision Song Contest, which, as a North American, I don't know about these things. I'd never heard about this glorious television event until I lived in the UK. And when I saw it for the first time, I was hooked. It's incredibly ridiculous, and I love it. It's also hilarious. So I was going to a Eurovision Song Contest party that evening, and in the morning, I don't know what I was going to work on, something completely different to the front of my house. But what happened is that I had just moved in. I'd been living in the house for about a month, and every time I walked out the front door, I said to myself, I really must put my spare key somewhere outside. I should hide it somewhere, anywhere, whatever. Give the spare key to a friend, who knows. I shouldn't have both of my keys in my house with me. Seems logical, seems wise, but it's not something I got around to doing. And then on that fateful morning, with the Eurovision Song Contest party looming in the evening, I walked out my front door and I heard a click behind me, and I knew in my heart that the key was inside. Both of the keys were inside, and I was locked out of my house. And my house, in case you can't tell, is quite bunker-like. The metal door is very solid, and yeah, I really had no idea how I was going to get back in. I suppose I could have called a locksmith, but I didn't. In my mind, the logical thing to do, knowing that I'd already gone halfway through the 50-centimeter wall, and knowing that I had a crowbar outside with me, the logical thing for me to do was to go through the wall. So I basically took that crowbar, I hacked away at the stones, I pulled them out, I made this relatively small hole, and I Supermaned my way through that hole onto the kitchen table I had there at the time, onto the floor, spilled my coffee everywhere. It would have been hilarious to film, but of course my camera was inside. And I got in the house, unlocked the door, put my spare key outside, and felt really, really stupid after that. At this point, it was about 10 in the morning, and the reason I'm mentioning this Eurovision Song Contest thing is because I really wanted to go to the party, and I didn't want to leave a gigantic hole in the front of my house. So I spent the rest of the day basically rebuilding the wall with tiny stones and mortar, and I found some scrap wood around and built that little ridiculous window there. So that's the story about why I have the weird wooden thing there. I suppose I could have taken those planks off and made a little temporary window, but the problem with that is that up above there was water leaking in, so anytime it rained, I'd have water coming in, so it was just easier to put a tarp and forget about the whole thing and try to deny it ever happened. But it did happen, and now I'm dealing with it. This is the year that I finish this godforsaken window hole and get a window in there and get some natural light into my house. So it's been a long time coming. I still don't exactly know how I'm going to do it, but as I mentioned before, I have had some help from friends. You know what, rather than standing here and chatting about this, let's take a walk because I've got a couple things I want to show you. First up, let's take a stroll down to my third terrace where I have some stones to show you, which I assure you is far more exciting than it sounds. These stones are what I'm going to be hoping to use in the sides of the window hole. My friend Ben, who's a very talented stonemason, he actually came over, marked out the window, gave me some ideas, told me some things. He's very knowledgeable, and I was really lucky to have him come, and it gave me a little bit of confidence at the beginning. He also came over and showed me how to split stones, and that was an amazing thing to learn, and this is the result. So I have this stone, which is nearly complete to be a stone in the side of the window, though I'm wondering if perhaps I can also split it this way as well and have two stones out of this one. But you can see these marks here, and that's from the drill, and then you use a tool called plug and feathers to split the stone, and it's a really, really interesting process. I've showed it in one of my videos, but I'm going to be doing plenty more stone splitting in the future, and I'll share that as well. And the next stone I'm going to be splitting is this monster here, which will hopefully be the other side of the window. So I don't have a full plan yet, but I'm really, really excited to get the tools on this thing and make it smaller and more manageable. So rather embarrassingly, these stones have been sitting here in exactly this spot for at least 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. As I said, Ben came over, he showed me how to use the drill and the plug and feathers to split the rocks. Then they sat here for a really long time, and then my friend Carrie came over, who also knows a bunch about stonework, and she helped me split some more stones, get some more pieces off of it, and shape them into more window-friendly shapes. I'm hoping to get the sides and possibly maybe some bottom stones out of this. I don't really know. There's probably some stones along this terrace that I could steal and use as well. But it's been a process. Splitting stones is very time consuming, but I really, really love working with stone. And even though I haven't actually done anything for a really long time with these things, I am quite excited about working on the window. My friend Sinead and I have worked together with stone, and we work together well, and I think that together, she doesn't know this yet, I'm hoping she'll help me with the window, and I think that together we'll be able to get this thing done. So we'll see. Let's carry on our walk further down the terraces to the bottom terrace, where I'll need this little thing. And I'm gonna talk about the thing that's been limiting me, besides my fear of the project, which has been pretty strong. The other thing that has held me back is the fact that I don't have a large stone to span across the window in the front. Inside the house, I'm gonna use wood as the lintel being that piece of wood or stone that spans the window distance and carries the weight of the roof. I'm gonna use wood inside, but on the outside, I wanna keep the stone look. And I'm hoping that this stone under here is going to be wide enough to span the distance. And I'm hoping I can break it into the right shape to use as a lintel. It's fallen from the terrace here, and it's lived there for a really, really long time, and I don't have any idea what the other side looks like. I'm hoping it's flat. I have no idea. So something I need to do, and I don't think I'll do it today, is basically liberate this giant stone here from its weedy resting place and see if it might be suitable as a lintel. I think clawing this stone out from there is a job for another day when it's not so hot. Maybe get up early in the morning and see what I can do about that. But I just wanted to show you that that's my hopeful lintel. And stones are quite expensive, especially when you buy the big pieces that are quite square. They've been worked on. They're labor intensive to make. So I'm gonna do my very best to avoid buying a lintel if possible. And you can see that this stone here could also be an option if I can get it out from under that tree. I might actually need to take this stone out and cut this corner a little bit wider in order to use this space as parking. So that could be an option. Probably involves a tractor to get that thing out. And I have loads of other beautiful stones as well that might be usable, but I don't want to take any of these things out of this awesome wall. So I want to keep these here and basically explore what might be possible to use a lintel without having to buy one. So this is just another project of many projects on my list, but I really am getting fed up living inside the house without a window. It's been 3 years now. I was hoping to get this thing done last year, but just didn't get around to it. But it's the beginning of the summer, and I feel like if I can tackle it with my friend, and if we can get started really early in the season, we can get this thing done. And so as I mentioned, the window's not the problem, it's the window hole that's been intimidating me, but I've been thinking about it long enough. I know I have friends that can help. I have people I can ask advice of. I think once I get started, things will fall into place, and hopefully it's all gonna work out as planned. So that's the saga of the window. That's the reason I have the ugly blue tarp on the front of the house. And that's a little background about why I'm a bit scared of the job. It's quite daunting. I don't feel like I have all the materials. I need to make some stones. And basically I have all the excuses for you, but I'm hoping, no, this will 100% be the year that I get a window into the front of my house. I promise you that, and I'm very excited for it, and I'm very excited to get started. It's gonna be a really challenging project, but I think with the help of my friend Sinead and with the advice of my other friends with experience using stone, we'll be able to get this thing done. And then once we do, the window guy will come, measure things up, and bish bash bosh, I'll have a window in my house. So I hope you enjoyed this video explaining all that stuff. It's been a video I've been meaning to make for a long time, and I'm really happy I've finally, hopefully, communicated the story behind the window. So as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions at all about this whole window thing, or any advice, tips, suggestions, whatever, please do leave me a comment. I love hearing from people. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.